Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of He Said, He Said, He Said, a look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective. I'm Alvin King, your host, and welcome to our new season, ladies and gentlemen. Or let me say, welcome to our new season, He Said-ians. That's right. Last season, we said we were going to give you all a name. And so we're calling all of our viewers and our supporters, we're calling you He Said-ians. So welcome to a new show, everybody. We are glad that you're here. It has been 9 weeks since we last saw all of you, and I have missed being here. But like everything else that you're passionate about, sometimes you need to take time away from it so you can refuel, recharge, and rethink. And in this case, we did it so that we could bring you guys some more quality viewing. So again, thank you for joining us tonight. Hi, Rose. How you doing? Thank you for joining us tonight. Glad to see you. Our show tonight, it is about reconnecting with all of you, our viewers, and sharing our opinions about what's going on in this crazy world. So much has happened since we last saw you, but your opinions matter. So don't hesitate to comment, and let us acknowledge your responses, because we do want to hear from you. And also, we thought that we would leave the guests at home tonight because while we were away, we were able to have another member to join the He Said family and our panel, a gentleman by the name of Bobby Edwards. He is our new one of our new co-hosts, and he's here tonight for the first time. So we wanted you to meet him and just, connect with him and all of us. And we are so happy that he's here. Okay, happy Veterans Day, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Veterans Day to all of you out there who have served our country. We appreciate you, and we're sending lots of love to you. Today, also, Wakanda Forever, the sequel, was released today in movie theaters, and I'm sure many of you are flocking to it. I've seen some of your posts on social media. I'm trying not to read it, but it doesn't matter, because I'm going to go see it anyway, because I am so happy that this movie has been released, and I'm sure that it's pretty good. Also, November is American Diabetes Awareness Month. As you know, I'm a diabetes advocate, and this picture that you're watching right now, for the last several years, I have created an event for the American Diabetes Association called Swirling Chords Fashion and Music Gala, and I hope to do it again in 2023. COVID postponed it. It is an event where we bring fashion and music together to bring awareness to diabetes. And according to the American Diabetes Association, African Americans make up 11.7% versus white people, or Caucasian people, that make up 7.5%. And Asian Americans, they're slightly higher than Caucasian Americans, and they make up 9.2% of diabetes. Diabetes is very serious, and you should take it seriously. And if you can, go get checked out to make sure that you don't have it. Okay. Hello, Robert Stevens is here. Michelle Bowie is here. Robert Beatty is here. Thank you all so much for joining us again. I'm not going to belabor this because I'm ready to bring them on. Ladies and gentlemen, please bring on my co-host. You've seen him before, Mr. Vash Bodie, and our new co-host, Mr. Bobby Edwards. What's up? Hey, fellas, how you guys doing?
Hey! I am so excited to be the third wheel here, the trio. Make that a trio. It's good to see you all.
Well, thank you. How you doing, Vash Bodie?
Alvin King, I am doing so well. It is so amazing to be here. It feels like forever since I have seen you guys, since I have seen the likes of Blue and Rose and the other people that join us every week. Y'all, we've missed you. I've missed you. I am so happy to be here. Can't wait to talk about everything.
Yeah, well,
welcome to Bobby. Look.
Yes,
we got a new person.
Thank you, Vash. Thank you. I'm so thrilled to join you guys. Thank you. I'm honored. Thank you.
Well, if anybody's been following the show, y'all have to know that Bobby has been one of the people, one of the viewers who's been commenting, and I mean, ongoing. He has been so engaged in our show, and at every juncture, at every show, he is throwing out comments, and we're responding to him. So to have you on the other side, brother.
Well, I'm honored because what I said to you from the very beginning, Alvin, when you first shared this live stream, that there was no space that I found that allowed this perspective, of the seasoned Black men, the gay Black men, to really be able to discuss issues that are on our hearts, on our minds, that impact us, and impact those that we love. And so the platform that you've provided is just something that's always been very special to me. So I'm deeply humbled to join the group.
Ooh, that was like putting on a new pair of shoes, y'all.
Very nice shoes, right?
I swear it was a
lovely.
very nice shoe, a Ferragamo, if I might, if I may.
Okay, all right.
Hold on, how you doing?
Hi.
Garfield Gardner is on here. Thank you for joining us, my brother. Really appreciate you doing that. So, if you guys are ready, we're going to talk about a lot of things that are happening in the world right now. And again, please, we want to hear your comment. Some of them might be delayed. So if you want to say something, just start clicking, because we want to make sure that we get it in and
Absolutely.
we hear from you. So let's go ahead and start this show. Come on.
Okay. All right.
Let's get
Yes,
it.
let's.
Here we go.
All right. See. Did I look rich?
Yes, you do.
Powerball
And
rich?
speaking of rich, one person won that $2 billion Powerball lottery jackpot. The ticket was purchased in Altadena, California. Hello to all my folks out in Altadena. Michal, because you're going to be here with us in December. Hello. And my friends Barry and Van, who are usually in the audience. Someone near y'all won the Powerball. One ticket, $2 billion. It is the largest prize in history, and no one's claimed it yet. But the person who sold the ticket, this guy Joe Service Station, the guy's name is Joe Shahayed.
Yeah.
He gets $1 million just for selling the
Exactly,
ticket, y'all.
Exactly.
Wow.
I mean, isn't that amazing?
Life changing.
It is amazing. But the two friends that you named, I just want you all to know that we do this show, and we do need sponsors. So if you have a friend that won that ticket, you can for sure talk to them and pour it into us, sow that into this show, because we would definitely make it worth your while. But isn't that amazing? What would you do with $2.4 billion? What? You can't even comprehend. You can't.
No.
Well, right now the person hasn't even claimed it, because they don't even know whether they want to take the one installment, which would be $994 million, or take it over 30 years, which would bring them up to the $2 billion.
I think I'd start with a new cell number.
You are hilarious. Maybe that's what they're doing for not claiming it. They're like, look, let me change my cell number. Let me get an attorney. Let me get an accountant. And let me get 2 Dobermans, because I want y'all coming to my house.
Exactly. There are no stop bys. No.
I promise you, I would have the first thing that honestly that I would do, and I know this is going to sound like a cliche, but I'm gonna be like, first of all, I'm gonna say, God, you know me better than anybody in the world. So I need you to step in right now and put me in focus, because I'm getting ready to go buck wild, God. Okay, and I need you to tell a brother to simmer down, because the moment you tell me I got $2 billion, what's to stop me from buying anything that I want?
Well, first of all, even if you
you'd have to buy some soap for that mouth.
But even if you won the lottery, you wouldn't actually have $2 billion. I think it's like, I forgot how many million it is, like 900 million. Like you wouldn't. You're not going to have $2 billion. You'd have a lot of money, but you're not going to have $2 billion.
If you took the one lump sum, you would get $994 million.
That's what I thought it was. Yeah.
Right. And if you took it over 30 years, you would get smaller amounts. But still, you would have more than you got right now. Right.
I still wouldn't call y'all the moment I want it. Okay, I would not. Okay,
I was like, but Alvin, once you give Vash and me our cut, then like what's left?
Next topic.
I'm just saying that I would still come and do this show with y'all because I would still want to talk to the people who come and visit us every week.
Okay.
I would.
All right.
Rose, I would not leave you alone. Blue, you would see me every week.
Rodney,
Okay.
can you put up two side looks by Rodney Bryant, please? Put up two side looks. One for the first thing he said and one for the second thing he
Okay,
said.
there's one. There's one. Okay, excellent.
All right. Well,
I would.
congratulations to the winners or all the other winners. It should have been
Yes,
me, but
and
it wasn't.
the lottery commission is telling people, please check your tickets
Yes.
because there are I believe that there are tickets that have won
That's right. I heard
up
that.
to $11.2 million.
Can you
Right.
imagine? To
No,
not
there are
win the big
11.2
one.
million tickets. Hold on. Let me get this right. There are 11.2 million tickets that have won $98.1 million, including 22 tickets that won $1 million each.
Wow.
So if you played the Powerball, if you did not win the whole thing, check your tickets. If you've got 5, 4, or even 3 numbers, you have still won some money. And out of that big jackpot, that's still enough for you to really change your life. Maybe not the way that Alvin would, so you wouldn't
Right.
come and cuss us out,
No.
but you could still do something really nice.
I said I want to go talk to y'all. First of all, $50 could change my life because I'm that kind of humble guy. So don't even get it twisted, okay? So look, I don't want you putting that out in the atmosphere to all of our viewers. I'm very humble, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let Voss and Bobby, what do you call it? Taint my personality, okay? So,
But it was you that mentioned the Ferragamo shoe earlier. I just want to point that out.
because you look rich.
Oh, thank you, Alvin. Thank you. I appreciate that. And happy holidays to you. How's that?
happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays to you too. How's that for you? No.
Thank you.
I wanted to talk about the season. I love the holiday season as much as anybody. And you know that between November 1st and January 15th, there are actually 29 holidays celebrated by the 7 major religions in the world. So it is truly holiday season. That said, I'm one of those people who really kind of appreciates kind of like the order of it all. And so all of my friends know that I've been having some very interesting issues with some of my neighbors who have been, I've come home and like Christmas trees are up, lights are up, I'm turning on my television, I'm seeing commercials, and I'm not a caramel latte. Yeah, this is what we're seeing when we walk into the stores right now. And it's full throttle, trees up, lights, the Christmas music's going. And I'm just like, was Thanksgiving just kind of taken off the map? Like when is it right to switch over?
Well, I don't think it's
I identify as Christmas all the time.
Yeah, I have to agree with Vosh. I love Christmas. I mean, I'm not saying that I love it to the point that when I go in the store in June and buy some tanning oil that I want to see a wreath sitting next to it. I'm saying that I like Christmas. So it seems like it's pretty natural to me. To go from Halloween to Christmas so fast.
But what I'm saying to you is I have seen Christmas decorations and lights up and so forth before Halloween. Like it's like next to you can pick up some candy and a wreath.
Well, have you gone to their house?
I do have to confess.
Wait, confession.
When I went out on Halloween night,
yes,
I decided, okay, maybe I should give out candy because I could see the kids coming out. It was early. I was like, they're coming out this year. It's the first year after COVID.
Yeah.
There's no, let me go get some Halloween candy.
Yeah.
When I went to the grocery store on Halloween night,
yeah,
the place where all the Halloween candy was gone, and they had already put out Christmas stuff. This is on Halloween night. So I agree that perhaps that we are a little aggressive with the Christmas thing.
Well, wait.
But why do you think that is?
See, well, first of all, who goes to get candy on Halloween night? You knew Halloween was coming. So I don't know why you waited to go get candy on Halloween night. So what did you, okay, what?
I was not going to call him out. I was
what,
like,
what?
You got it on Halloween?
What? You got it on Halloween?
First of all, thank you, Emerson, for saying that it would be 50% off. I was
Of
holding
course,
out,
Emerson.
not
Of course.
knowing, because last year kids didn't come out. Like we had candy and kids didn't come out. So the question was, would kids come out? Oh, they are coming out. Let me go get candy. Oh, they've taken the candy away. They're just as much, anti-Halloween as I am because they didn't keep it around till the next day.
Well, look, our viewers clearly think that this is important because
They are
Emerson,
chiming
Yes.
in.
yeah, Emerson was like, okay. Emerson had problems with it right up front or a question. And then he says that the next day, Halloween candy was 50% off. That is true, Emerson, but it was gone when Vash went to get it.
All right.
It don't matter.
They were like, look, we have given up.
And George has pointed out a very good, George Pringle also, thank you, George. It's good to know that you're with us this evening, that he's pointed out that, for some people, the decorations and so forth puts them in a very good mood and so forth, and that we could use some uplifting. I certainly remember people saying that during the pandemic, that they decorated earlier because they just really wanted to get into a good mood. So I do understand that. But at the same time, I'm struggling with the number of Black Friday sales that I'm seeing right now. I'm like, we're not even near Thanksgiving. We're 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving, and they're having Black Friday sales.
Well, all I got to say is right now, trim the tree if you can, okay? Because it's gonna be what it's gonna be. And I first of all, don't go buck wild on your neighbors who are irritating you when you pull up to your parking lot. They got their Christmas tree up. Don't do that.
I deal with it. Because you know what? In the end, it's not hurting me. It's not hurting me. And I respect people doing what brings them joy as long as it's not hurting anyone else. And it's not hurting me. I'm baffled by it, but it's not hurting me. And if it ultimately brings them more joy, then so be it.
Well, the thing is,
go ahead, man. Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, it's clear that Christmas is gone beyond the season, and it is about the capitalism. Yeah. It is about making sales and generating, because companies make such a huge percentage of their annual revenue during the Christmas season, and that is what it is. I mean, and it's been that, and over the years, like we've noticed the acceleration of when Christmas comes out over the past 10 years to the point where now we barely get through, as I've said, we barely get through Halloween before it's Christmas. And I think it's a little bit much. Well, if you can't find a little bit of joy in your heart already, Christmas ain't gonna do it.
Well, whether they're celebrating early or late, one of the things that I really hope that people will consider is the notion of wishing people a happy holiday season. I'm a Christian. Christmas is my holiday, but I also recognize the fact that, as I said, there are many holidays that are being celebrated, and just mine are not the only ones of great significance. They are to me, but not necessarily to others. So I have tried to get into the habit of wishing people a happy holiday season.
What are a couple of the holidays?
Well, obviously there are things like Hanukkah. Obviously is one of the big ones. And there's Kwanzaa. Obviously, yes. Christmas. So just those three alone would negate you from simply saying Merry Christmas.
But what are some of the other ones? You said there were like 20 some odd.
There are 20.
Do you have a couple like that?
I need to come up. More? I will have one or two more for you in a second. How's that?
Well,
okay. I thought you had them. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Okay, I was going to say while he's looking though, you all can think about what you're going to give me for Christmas, and I'm going to go to the next point. No, I already got that. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next. Okay, so thank you all, thank you viewers for chiming in on this Christmas bonanza. Okay, and next week, please let Bobby know that you have sympathy for him and what he's going through all of this. But all right. So look, this week, ladies and gentlemen, and panel members, the midterm elections has dominated the whole. Well, it's been. First of all, I'm so happy that I'm not getting another thing on my phone to vote for this person, vote for that person. I'm so glad that that's gone. But this week, it has come down to who's going to rule the Senate and who's going to, rule Congress. And right now we have a buffoon and Reverend Warnoff, who is running and in Atlanta, and they are holding up. Well, they're one of the run. They're going to enter into a runoff, but their election is really holding up a big chunk of us moving forward with making a selection for someone in the Senate and in Congress. And I am really, really baffled how Walker, I can't even say his name, how he is actually running against Warnock and actually winning. I just can't believe it. It is like ludicrous to me.
It is beyond comprehension that someone of such incompetence is being touted as the right choice for the good of the state, someone who could represent all people. He is suggested that he could put his resume up against President Obama's. He made a absolutely ridiculous statement talking about the need for recognition of different pronouns in schools, and like he's said statement after statement that confirm his incompetence, and yet he is being propped up as a viable candidate against Reverend Warnock, and it's mind-boggling to me that there's even the need for a runoff.
Well, also think now, 88% of the evangelical Christians voted for an admitted adulterer, Herschel Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 88% of the evangelical Christians voted for him and not Reverend Warnock. What is that saying about this country? What?
I think it's saying more about the evangelicals.
Well, true.
In my opinion,
True.
It's saying more about them.
True.
And what does their religion mean? What are they following?
Right.
You know, what is that all about? Like,
Yeah.
how do you stay on one hand that family values and being pro-life are one thing when he has clearly demonstrated,
Absolutely,
not just by other people saying things, but his children and the people who have been the mothers of his soon to have been children are saying that he's not that.
Right.
Yeah. And Emerson had raised the question in the chat there, wondering whether all of his votes were white, and apparently not. Part of, I think, the decision to promote Herschel Walker was indeed the fact that there were many Black voters who admired his football career, and the assumption that because he was a celebrated football player, that people would support him as well. That was one of the. So I'm assuming that a good number of the votes that have him in this runoff did come from white voters, but not exclusively. There were Black voters as well. And someone, I think Rodney had mentioned that, Lindsey Graham was like literally in tears at a press conference talking about, that Herschel Walker is being treated poorly, and it's a poor reflection to people of color who might consider being Republicans, a party which I have never really seen any sense of real appreciation for people of color. But now all of a sudden, because people are not voting for Herschel Walker, if I were a young Black person considering my political parties, I now would not become a Republican because I'm seeing how Herschel Walker is being treated is absolutely insulting that he would sit there and say that.
Yeah, well, it's Lindsey Graham, first of all. Okay, so right. So take that for what it's worth. But
yeah,
in the interim of us talking about this, there has also been a lot of things to celebrate with this election, and one of them is Wes Moore, who was he's now the new governor of Maryland, the first Black governor for Maryland, and still the first Black governor of Maryland. So let's give Wes Moore a round of applause and congratulate him for this accomplishment. I'm not going to, I was getting ready to go down another road because there still needs to be, he's only the third Black governor ever to have been selected.
That's right. Doug Wilder.
Wilder,
Wes Moore, and Deval Patrick up in Massachusetts. Yeah.
But we all know that there should be more. But again, I don't want to dim the light on Wes Moore and his accomplishments right now. And we We also have a Gen Zer who has been, well, two. Is it two or one?
I think it's actually two.
It's two. Two have been, one is black and I know one is white, has been, is now a part of, what do you call it, has taken a political seat. And so that makes me feel kind of good, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we need some new blood in there, because all this old blood
has got to go. And
it's got to go. Yeah.
Well, and there were groundbreaking
lets,
elections.
The rest.
No, go ahead, Bosh.
I was going to say, it lets the rest of the politicos know that the Gen Zers and the Gen Xers, they're paying attention. The millennials, they're paying attention, and they're ready to get into the mix. And people are willing to vote for them, because we realize we have to start pushing all those other folks out of the way if we're going to like come in and create something really brand new.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Darwin, thank you for your welcome. I did see it. I just want to say thank you for that. And there are also some groundbreaking elections that were, for instance, in Massachusetts, first female governor in the state, and she is an open lesbian as well. So groundbreaking still. And so there were some positive election results out there this week as well.
Definitely. So
lots
of them. And I think this would be a good segue, since we're talking about the election results and who reports them. And I just thought that this latest and abrupt decision to let Tiffany Cross of the Cross Connection, MSNBC, to let her go right before the midterm election. And from what I've been reading, I've been trying to piece together like why. And I know she made a statement, but she didn't come out and say that she was extremely radical, or she didn't. I don't get why I didn't get anything in what I read which said why they let her go. But I have my own opinions about that. And I think that Tiffany Cross was hitting all the nails on the head.
Absolutely.
And somebody got mad with her, because that girl is fire. I mean, since I've seen her come on, even before she got her own show, she knows her stuff. And so I just found that to be troubling to me, for them to let her go. And what I was hearing was that she was too radical. Yeah.
I saw her. I mean, she was on a broadcast. Was it Charlemagne the God's radio show?
The Breakfast
Club. She was
Club.
talking about Florida, and she used a couple of words that were a little outside of what an organization might consider acceptable to have as an anchor on a show on their program. So is it enough to have fired someone? People have gotten fired for similar things. So it's unfortunate, but she made the choice to use those words. And as a broadcaster going on someone else's show, I know when I book people to go on different shows, they're always very particular. As a broadcaster on the radio or on TV, you know there's certain words that you're not supposed to say. And she used a word that was close enough to one of the words you're not supposed to say. It's iffy. I think she was a great person. I thought she was a great personality. She'll find another spot, but I'm not surprised that they let her go.
Well, look at some of the comments over here. Let's start with Rodney. First of all, he said, well, was she making money? Was her show making money for MSNBC? And, I'm assuming if the show was generating dollars, she would still be there. So that is one thing to be considered in them making their decision. And I think Emerson had said something earlier. It was pertaining to Val Demings. And he asked us.
No, he also said that Joy Reid said last Friday.
Yeah, I was just going back up because I didn't want to miss anything that everyone was saying. But go ahead. No,
I was going to say this is Emerson's comment that I was about to say. That Joy Reid said last Friday that she knew what the deal was, but it sounded internal. Okay. That's where I thought you were going.
Okay. No, I'm sorry. I was going back up to but I was going back up to anyway. Yeah. Thank you, and we got back on track. I just wanted to make sure that we had a discussion about Tiffany Cross. I know she's going to do well. I think, you know, the young lady is amazing in my opinion. And, you know, I just hope that, you know, that she gets another job somewhere because, and I hope that whatever mistakes she made or didn't say, or whatever bridges she crossed in that whole world of media and all that, that it didn't cost her career.
No way. It absolutely did not.
No,
Okay.
I don't think so either. But
Okay.
I do think that, you know, many of the comments have also included the question as to whether or not she spoke truth. And I just think that, you know, as Vash says, she's an experienced journalist. She knows words, she knows the buttons that will, you know, be provocative and so forth. But I also think that she's always been, MSNBC knew what they were hiring with her. She speaks truth.
Right.
And she does not hold back. And I think that she felt the need to speak as in such a strong way as she did.
The thing is, you can say things. You can read someone from the ground to the head to the feet, and do so in a way that doesn't use words that would cause any sort of repercussions. If you go base, it's gonna come back and slap you in the face. Holla. Ryman didn't even holla.
Okay. but you know, I mean, but Vash, to that, and I mean, I don't want to get again because we got some other things that we need to talk about. But people like Rush Limbaugh, you can't tell me that they haven't said other things that have, like, I mean, has just been completely off kilter and still kept their job. And
they owned their show. He owned his show, which is different than being an employee. He owned his show and was syndicated. She was an employee. Right. Know your business.
Right.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, that's
all I'm saying.
Well, somebody owned it, but he had to buy it from he didn't own the station. He didn't own the damn station. So you know what?
Well, and they have a history, but they also have a history of doing this with other Black journalists.
I get your point. I do. Point taken. But I just think that,
and it's a bloodbath with every network. CNN's firing people, MSNBC, like all of them are like going, what are we doing? Like, fire this one, get rid of that one. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, you know.
All right. Well, okay.
If you get a position in the network, keep your nose clean.
Yes.
Well, yeah, or at least do what they say, mass.
Oh Lord!
I ain't going there.
Go ahead.
I'm not even talking about that. Because you can say stuff and do your thing and not be in a position where you can get terminated based on going outside of what is considered a code of conduct. You can still express yourself. You just have to know how to do it in a way that, you know.
Yeah, but it's really hard when in my world, you know, a lot of times when Black people, and I'm taking it a whole nother direction now because I was trying to move on, but when Black people get passionate about something, they're angry. And so, you know, that comes up for me too, you know, and she has that kind of, the way she reports, she really gets into it. And you know, that is something that, you know, most Black people it's held against them. You're getting to, you know, if you're passionate about something, then you're angry. Then you're coming across as angry. And I don't want, that may not have been the case, but that's what came up for me just now when you were talking about that. And
are you angry now?
No.
He's just passionate.
I'm just passionate.
That's it. Just passionate. That's it. I knew it. He's just passionate. He's not angry.
I'm just passionate. So we got to move on. Can we go on to the next topic?
Well,
please?
yes, we're talking currently, but in all seriousness, we are talking about Black women in the news. And obviously, there was also news this week about Brittany Griner. We know that she was transferred to a Russian penal colony. And it's a move that her family has dreaded since her August conviction on drug charges. Her lawyers aren't quite sure where she's headed. And the Russian legal team announced this past Wednesday in Moscow that they're very concerned about it. So I did a little research on it because obviously I am not familiar with Russian penal colonies. And what I got in this article that I read today that said that Brittany Griner is getting sent to the harshest category of penal colonies for many women in Russia are sent to one of 106 mixed gender, low security settlement penal colonies, but Griner's conviction for drugs means that she will be serving her 9-year sentence in one of the 35 high security correctional institutions for women only. So there is really very serious concern for her family about her safety and the next years of her life. I feel personally it's very unfortunate that I believe that she is being used as a pawn right now, that she certainly, we've seen how and know that other countries treat drug convictions differently. And certainly as a woman of color, a very high profile woman of color, there are other Americans that are being held captive in Russia as well. But it certainly feels to me, based upon everything that I've read about it, that she's being used as a political pawn right now.
All I can say is I wish the best for her as best. I have no comment on that whatsoever. Thank you, Bobby, for that research, for doing that research on that.
Absolutely.
I don't know what to say, but I just wish the best for her and her family right now.
Absolutely. Our prayers go out to Brittany and all those obviously that are being held captive. This is a same gender loving woman. She has a lovely wife who has certainly expressed her concerns as well. It has been most impressive to see the WNBA speak up and support her as well. And so we just, as we talk again about Black women in the news, and I personally am one of these people who believes that Black women have carried America's back, carried America on their backs for many years in the history of our nation. And it is so unfortunate to see yet another example of, again, just being used as a political pawn. It's very unfortunate for me. And our prayers go out to Brittany and her family.
Thank you, Bobby.
Yep.
Thank you. All right. Well,
I do have to point out that sex and gender are not the same. And I think that she is the same sex loving woman, not the same gender loving woman.
Sure.
Okay, so unless you have been under a rock,
he said.
But
Okay,
her gender is female, and she's married to another woman who identifies as female.
No, gender is not female. Gender is not female. Sex is female. Gender is woman. We are having lots and lots of discussions with people these days because they keep conflating sex and gender. You are born into a sex which is male, female, and can be other. And then you grow into your gender and choose a gender, which is man, woman, etc. So when people say same gender loving,
but do they both identify?
That means anyone that identifies as that gender is in your dating pool, and that is not the case because.
But do they both identify as women?
Same sex.
Do they both identify as
women? But that is not the same as. It depends. But is that person who identifies as a woman, were they a male at birth and going into woman? It's a much broader thing. So the same gender loving is not the same as same sex loving. And so you would have to know a little bit more about her to know whether or not she was same gender loving versus same sex loving, which we know because she goes after other women, females, not just women, but females.
I
think we can go deeper into that if you would like.
Bobby, if I may interject, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut y'all off, but that is another discussion for a talk show. Okay,
I love it though.
We have actually gone into that before, and I can send you into links that will show that conversation.
And I promise you, we will do a show on the difference between sex versus gender. We will do another show, but we're gonna keep this show moving because I know I see the road less traveled here. Okay, so can we go on to our next topic, please, ladies? Gentlemen. Sure. Thank you.
Of course. because we already do cover sex and gender and other topics and other shows.
Mm-hmm.
But let's move on to Twitter, because unless you have been under a rock and have not known that Elon Musk has bought Twitter, when we talked earlier in this week, we wanted to talk about how the use of the N-word has gotten further expanded in the Twitterverse
Increased
since
500%.
Elon Musk has purchased Twitter.
500% increase.
At least 500%. Exactly. But that is not even a thing that we want to talk about anymore, because you know what has been going on since then. Elon Musk has decided that instead of allowing people to just get and earn that little blue Twitter check, they have decided that you can pay for it. And the funny thing is that they've recently launched it. And this is after firing half the workforce and then having to bring people back in because he fired people that were going to help him or knew how to help get this little blue check thing on. They have now released it. And the results are hilarious because people have gone in and decided, oh, I'm going to buy the check mark and create an account and do things like, hey, I'm LeBron James. And someone tweeted this, like, I'm officially requesting a trade. Thank you, Lakers Nation, for all the support throughout the years. On to bigger and better things. The King for Akron. I'm coming home.
And that's
a fake.
LeBron James.
That's not LeBron James. That's a fake account.
That's a fake account.
It's fake. They went on. Someone went on and said, "Hey,
that he fired."
Help me understand. I'm confused for a minute. Help me what is going on right here? Right here.
First of all, answer Bobby's question. He fired half the workforce.
I saw that, but then he had to bring them back. I didn't know he brought them back.
That people in the workforce were going to be able to help him do the things that he said he wanted to do, like charge people $8 a month for that blue check that said who you were. So then he had to bring people back on. We're going to get to all this. We're going to talk about the N-word, the blue check, and these fake accounts. So since then, he brought some people back. They were able to allow people to go on and say, hey, I got the free check. I'm a certified account. And people are going crazy. So we saw the LeBron one. Right. Someone did one and said, hey, I'm Rudy Giuliani. Because I stand with Kyrie Irving and Kanye West. Because George Soros once pushed me down in the street and I was stuck on my back like a turtle for several minutes. That's not Rudy Giuliani.
First of all, he doesn't know who Kyrie Irving is.
Because you know.
Oh, Lord.
Because he probably don't. Someone said, oh, I'm Dave Chappelle. And trans women are women. No longer team turf, y'all. What? And the final one, someone purchased the Twitter, purchased the verification, created an account saying that they were Twitter.
on a Twitter account.
Yeah.
He's a mess.
On Twitter, created a Twitter account saying that they were Twitter.
I'd like
this man is running Twitter and has.
That's what you get. That's what you get.
Look.
That's what you get. You treat people that way.
You might be able to run.
I don't have.
I'm
speechless on it because again, it is like that term we use, bobbing and weaving. That's what Twitter is. I don't like Twitter anyway. To be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of Twitter. But Emerson, I'm not going to do it.
No, we're not reading that.
Emerson, I'm not reading that. Emerson, but. But I'm sorry. Did we finish with Elon Musk for a minute?
We're done with him.
I just want to say we talked about Twitter earlier in our episode called Social Media Etiquette, and I have just put the link. So if you did not see that episode, go back and check us out. Vintage. Come on now. He said.
Come on. Thank you, Vash. Thank you for that. I know we're going to move on. We got a couple of things. We want you all to weigh in on some of this stuff. Okay, so as many of you know, there's been a lot of gun violence happening, and most of it has been centered around teenagers killing each other. And my question is, should parents be held responsible for the gun violence being committed by their children? Now, I know, let me just a caveat. I know that some of these kids don't have parents, they said. I know that some of these kids are in the system. But there are a lot of these kids that have parents that are not managing their kids.
Yep.
And so do you think parents should be held responsible for when their kids go out and create, and I mean, first of all, shoot
Yes.
people up and then get locked up? I think they should.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
You
think
what?
they should. I think they should be held
Absolutely.
responsible. Yeah.
Wasn't there a case that was in court of the kid who shot, and then they found the text of the parents where he said, "Oh, I'm doing this," and the parents were like, "Oh, whatever." Bring
Right.
them all into court.
Bring them all in
Bring
the
them
court.
in. Yes,
Okay.
you're responsible.
That's all I have to say. I just wanted to see viewers. Because I'm not a parent, but I just know that if I'm taking care of your child and I'm responsible for it, and your child do something bad, and because I'm not watching that child, I'm going to be held responsible for it. So why
You are
can't the parents
responsible for helping your child grow and develop emotionally, physically, etc.
Right. Yes, I totally agree. Thank you, Blue. Thank you, Emerson. Emerson, you still got me laughing about that last comment, but about Elon Musk. But yeah, I think both parents. I did read that also, Vash, that both parents were found guilty in that case. So yeah, that's and all of this is being driven by something.
Well, you guys know I'm an educator. I work with teenagers. I have for many, many, many years. Um, I've seen an evolution in what parenting looks like today. I think that all things must evolve to meet the needs of that day. I've seen the evolution of what it means to be a teenager this day. There are lots of pressures that kids and things that kids are exposed to in ways that we were not automatically or not as easily in terms of what kids have access. I mean, the fact that people can have a gun, a 3D gun, printed and delivered to them in the mail, that these kids can watch a video and learn how to put together a gun and then go out and harm somebody, rob somebody, harm themselves, is a far cry from what it was like when I was a teenager in terms of those things that I was exposed to. Our parents, I remember you remember with the Freddie Gray situation in Baltimore, and the young man had gone out to protest or something like that, and his mother, you remember the black mother came and got him, and she was like beating him and telling him like go home. She was,
I
and
remember
people were
that.
like, what's wrong with her and so forth.
Yeah, right.
And while I understood, no teenager wants to be embarrassed by his mother or something like that, but at the same time, there was a part of me that completely got what that mother was doing. She's like, I'm trying to save your life at this point.
I got it completely.
So there's a difference. There's a different experience for teenagers right now, and there's so many parents out here who are so overwhelmed with life themselves, became parents far sooner than they were technically ready to be parents. It's a very changed world out here, and it's frightening, to be very honest with you, because unfortunately a lot of these young people don't have the same value around life that once was held.
Clearly. So does that, again, getting back to my point, should parents be held responsible?
I think that there is a level of responsibility that the parents must have. They're your children.
Yeah. I think that's my only question with all this stuff that's going on. There needs to be a fine line leading to holding parents responsible for some of the actions, that they're, some of the things that their kids are doing. Mm-hmm. And so that's my point there. Okay, we got to keep moving because we got about 10 minutes before we wrap up, and we got some things we got to talk about. So let's keep moving.
Well, we were talking about social media, or at least I was talking about the ability to even get a gun or something like that. But it raises the question again about the power of social media, and is it really playing a role in promoting violence and within our community, whether it be political violence? There are people, for instance, the situation with Paul Pelosi out in California. The fact that here he is married to someone who has chosen to have a very public political life. He didn't necessarily decide to do that, and yet he's the one that's being attacked and being held captive, saying, we want your wife to come. And then another politician who's running for office in another state, literally making fun about it, the next day.
Right, and apologize. That's that Youngkin. And Glenn Youngkin, he's the governor of Virginia. He apologized to Nancy Pelosi in a letter. I would have personally torn the letter up. There's nothing for what he said, that there is nothing that I would have, nothing that he could have said that would have made me feel good about what he said about her husband. Nothing. And
Nothing.
so, yeah. And so
And
now
even
that
the governor, even a woman running for governor of Arizona, she said, well, Nancy Pelosi has protection. Obviously, her husband doesn't. Like there were multiple candidates out there running for office, making fun or light of someone being attacked because of a political belief.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and social media can be a feeder to that in some ways.
Well, it's also that whole searching for fame.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Doing something just in the hopes that someone might mention what you did, which is perpetuating it. It's pretty crappy that they didn't denounce it and really focus on the healing and the sympathy of the situation, as opposed to trying to capitalize it and get sort of funny points.
Yep.
I was done about it all, and I just I'm glad that Paul Pelosi is doing better, though. He is doing better, and he's on the mend. So, all right, well, okay.
Well, we need some love, y'all.
We need some love. We need some love.
We need some love.
Love.
Let's talk about some love.
Let's talk
Show
about
us some love.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk to you about some love. We got some love.
Give me some love, Vash.
I think we focused on some love.
Okay.
So, two beauty queens have recently tied the knot, and I'm just telling you that I could not be more verklempt. Mariana Varela and Fabiola Valentin are now married. These are two women who have been in the beauty industry, the beauty pageant industry, for a very long time. They kept their in romance and everything a secret for a very long time, but they tied the knot on October, I believe, 28th.
Mm-hmm.
So just a few weeks ago. And they share their news on social media. Mariana Varela and Fabiola Valentin were Miss Argentina 2020 and Miss Puerto Rico 2020, respectively. And they met during the Miss Grand International in 2020, and they just kept in contact. And then they started dating, and then they finally decided to tie the knot. Now, same-sex marriage has been legal in Puerto Rico since 2015 and in Argentina since 2010. So this is not necessarily big news in those countries because, people can get married if they love each other. But for the rest of the world, it is such an inspiration and such a light. And I'm thrilled for both of them. And they've gotten nothing but love from within the pageant community that has come forward. Right?
That's what I wanted to hear. That's what I wanted to hear. So I'm glad you reported on that. That's what I was hoping you said, Vash. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about is there some more love? I need more love. I need more love. I need just a little bit more love before we move on. Just a little bit more love. Can you give it to me, please?
Who is your ambassador of love? It is me, and I'm bringing it to you on all planes. Because you know what? On social media, there's nothing that irritates me more than to have people from a religious background and from a religious place talk about natural order and how it's, you need to be the way that God made you, because the natural order is man and woman and child. Two gentoo penguins named Klaus and Jones have gotten back together.
Yes, Klaus and Jones are gay penguins. Okay.
These two gay penguins have been on again, off again for the last 4 years. And the Sea Life Melbourne Aquarium have confirmed that the two are back together again. They have started building a nest again this year. They have built it in the right area with the other mating penguins. Last year, I guess they tried it out and they were off out in the burbs somewhere because they didn't feel welcome. But apparently some other little soccer penguin mom has said, oh no, honey, come on with us. So they built it in the right area. And they believe that if they do it again next year, that they might be able to give them a false egg to see how they would do in terms of trying to be foster parents. And if they do it again in the following year, they're going to try to give them an egg should a penguin pair not be able to, take an egg to full fertility. But
wow.
Klaus and Jones, you are a inspiration to all of us and a light telling people that it is natural for same-sex relationships.
I love it.
Is
I love it.
love.
That's
Come on
right,
now.
Garfield. Penguins need love too. I'm telling you. I love, and I'm employing every viewer, please go and read that story about Klaus and Jones, because I was literally on the side of my chair screaming and applauding at the same time. So please go in and read that story. So all right, we got to wrap up. So Bobby, anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Well, no, I know we've got to wrap up and so forth, but I just wanted to hope that now that it's getting colder outside and it's time to start cuddling up with a good book and also some great things on television, just wondering what you guys have been watching. Like I got a referral from a friend who was like, if you talking about love, Vash, there is a series on Netflix called From Scratch, which was a beautiful love story that I really enjoyed. It's 8 episodes, and it was really good. And so I'm just thinking about what are the things that we're watching that hopefully as we in the next show we might have some recommendations for some folks if you get stuck inside because it's cold or whatever, some good things to watch.
But wait a minute,
I can't wait for.
We have an image for From Scratch. This is it.
Oh, there it is.
Yes, there it is.
Zoe Saldana.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It is. I agree with you, Bobby. Excellent love story. Everybody should see it.
It was great. Amore.
All right. Well, thank you, Bobby. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to wrap up, and we got to tell you some things before we go. Thank you, Bobby and Vash, for an engaging conversation on all of our topics tonight. You guys give me life. Next week on November the 18th, ladies and gentlemen, we will have returning our financial guru, Mr. Randy Jones, wealth management advisor for First Financial Group. He will be here to talk about the last minute year-end saving ideas and some suggestions for preparing your finances for the new year. And also returning, Rudy Miles for Beauty by Rudy will be here to talk about how you need to prepare your skin. It's very important, okay, in this fall and winter month. So we're going to do finance the facials next week, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so
finance the facial.
That's right. You all need to tune in. Also, we need to give a special shout out tonight, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not heard, People Magazine have chosen their sexiest man alive, and one of the sexiest men in the running, ladies and gentlemen, is trans actor Bryant Michael Smith as one of their sexiest men alive for 2022. You might have seen him on Queen Sugar, but he is trans and he is amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Special applause to People Magazine for making this selection. This is absolutely incredible.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, our words of the week. If we could have it, the human tongue is a beast that few can master. It strains constantly to break out of its cage. And if it is not tamed, it will run wild and cause you grief. And that is a human tongue, ladies and gentlemen. That is our words of the week. And I just want to again thank Bobby and Vash. Welcome, Bobby.
Thank you. I'm so happy to join you guys. And it was time flies by. Thanks, Vash. Thank you, everybody. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Well, thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the guests or all the viewers who tuned in tonight. We really appreciate you, and we hope that you will share this with a friend and return next week. And until that time, we will stay cool, and we will see you next week on the next episode of He Said.
I thought Vash was next. He said.
He said.
Okay, we're gonna try this one more time before we go.
I was the new guy. I thought I was going last. So.
He said.
You always go in the middle.
Okay, Bobby. Vash likes to be in the middle. He said.
No, I like to be at the end.
Okay,
Bobby goes in the middle.
Okay, let's try it again. Okay, come on.
He said.
He said. Y'all said it at the same time.
Pray for us,
Y'all
people.
Are hilarious.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
All right, see you guys next week.
Thank you, guys.
We'll practice.